in the interest of full disclosure, I think I got to tell people that I've been out campaigning with you for the past couple of days, so it's not like I'm objective. I'm not pretending or even playing the role of a journalist.
Well, that's good. I like that.
Your stamina is pretty amazing. You're doing events starting early in the morning. Wednesday night, we didn't finish dinner until well after midnight. And I watched you through this process. Where do you get that stamina to do this?
Well, I sometimes say when people ask me, do I have a choice, right? I mean, it's like, it's set up and we have to do it. And it's so important. We have 90 days left, and I want to maximize the time. And it's so important for the country, whether it's Supreme Court justices or evangelicals, because you know we were at the big evangelical meeting with the pastors a little while ago. So many things happening on that front, and so many things happening on so many fronts. And I just feel that I have no choice. I have to really go full blast and get this thing done, because we will make America great again. We'll make America greater than ever before. And if Hillary Clinton gets in, it's a disaster. It's going to be 4 more years of Obama. It's going to be horrible, super left judges that on the Supreme Court. They're going to destroy the country. And so we have to get it done.
Look, the reason I bring up this whole issue of stamina is because the President of the United States is a very demanding job.
Right.
It's a demanding job physically, emotionally, spiritually, politically. I see people that work for you, they're half your age, and at the end of the day, I mean, they're dragging. You're still going strong. I mean, what I'm trying to point out is that this is a job that requires somebody who is physically capable of having that kind of pressure. Now, I've seen this.
Right.
How important do you think it is for the American people to understand just the physical capacity of their president?
Well, you have to have that. You have to have great strength. You're dealing with so many different problems and lots of other things, but in particular problems. And, you know, you have countries like China that have been taking advantage of us for years. You have to deal with that situation. We can't continue to have trade deficits of $500 billion a year. You have ISIS, where they're getting bigger and bigger, even though Obama is trying to convince people that they're not. Now they're in, I understand, 28 countries. It went from 8 to 28 in a short period of time. You have so many different difficulties that if you don't have the stamina, if you don't have the whatever that is that you have to have, the country's in trouble. Not you, the country's in trouble. And I've always said that Hillary doesn't have the stamina. I've said that for a long time. But you just need a great deal of strength to, you know, for us to come out a winner. Look at what happens. We lose on everything. We lose on trade. We can't beat ISIS militarily. Our vets aren't taken care of. Our borders are weak. Obamacare is a disaster. It's got to be repealed and replaced with something much better and much less expensive for the people. We have a lot of things to take care of. No, you need big stamina.
You have 2 opponents. You got Hillary Clinton, but you've also got the media.
Right. That's the bigger opponent.
I mean, you know, they're never the friend of a politician. But in my many years of doing politics, I've never seen anything like the kind of targeted attacks that have come upon you, misconstruing virtually everything you said. A good example this week, you made the comment that Barack Obama is the founder of ISIS. Now, you didn't mean physically that he's the founder of ISIS. You meant very clearly that his policies.
Everybody knew exactly what I meant. Well, actually, that's been covered, I think, pretty well. I think really, you know, when he, look, we should have never been in Iraq. I was against going into Iraq. It was a big mistake. But when he took it over, the way he got out was horrible, horrible. And it really led to the formation, the real formation of ISIS as we know it. And you look at the way that happened, and you look at the weakness, and then you see the way it grows. They tried to hide how they've grown. And it's weakness. It's just weakness. We have to knock them out. We have no choice. We have to knock them out. We have to knock them out strongly. But we have a depleted military. He's allowed our military to become totally depleted. I think he's just been a terrible president. He's made so many mistakes, and she'll be worse than him. She will be worse than Barack Obama.
Earlier in the week in Detroit at the Economic Club, you presented an economic plan that included significant tax cuts for everybody, but especially for businesses, small businesses, down to 15%.
Right, and middle-income people, especially for them too. But you're right, for businesses, absolutely.
Why is that important?
Because they're going to spur jobs like you haven't seen. You know, we have no growth. Our country right now, Mike, and you and I were discussing the numbers before, 1.2%. That's basically no growth. If China ever had 1.2%, there'd be a revolution. They get down to 7 or 8% growth, and it's like a big deal. They start devaluing and do all sorts of things to take more jobs out of the United States so that they can go longer. No, we have 1.2% growth. Essentially, that's no growth. We could be heading even lower than that. That means we're a stagnant country. We have millions and millions of people out of the workforce. They can't get jobs. And yet, statistically, it looks like 5%, but it's not 5%. It's probably 21%. It's a massive number. People give up looking for jobs. And the jobs that they have are bad jobs. And everybody admits that. Even the other side admits that. They're bad jobs. They're not good jobs. The good jobs have left to a large extent. So we have a lot of things to do, and we're going to do them, and we're going to straighten things out. But we have to get a whole different mindset. And Hillary Clinton literally will be 4 more years of Obama. That means high taxes. She wants to, did you see yesterday where she wants to double up taxes? She's going to, and double taxes won't take care of what she's doing. I mean, people's taxes are going to be doubled, if not more than that. So we have to win this election. We have to put the right judges on the Supreme Court, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many things to do.
When you spoke of that in Detroit and talked about the economic plans, well, you were doing that in a city that once was the world's center of manufacturing, called the arsenal of democracy. I mean, Michigan basically saved America by being able to build our armaments during World War II. Right. How do we get manufacturing back to a level where we're making things in America like Michigan once did?
Well, it was a great place, Detroit, many years ago, and now our great car companies are building cars in Germany and other places. And you look at even the unions, the number of people that they have today compared to 10 years ago and 20 years ago. You take a look, hundreds of thousands of people less. And Mexico is the 8th wonder of the world. A friend of mine who builds plants, he builds big plants. He goes and tells me Mexico, what they're doing in Mexico is amazing. They're taking our businesses. And our politicians have no idea how to handle it, and it's so simple. It's so simple. But one of the reasons they don't have any idea, probably number one, they don't have an idea, but number two, they're controlled by special interests and lobbyists and donors, and they don't want to handle it. So a place like Michigan is losing its jobs. Hillary will do nothing about it. There was a story in the Washington Post 2 days ago, which was shocking because the Washington Post never writes badly about Hillary. But there was a story in the Washington Post which tells you how badly she did as a senator from New York, that she promised upstate New York that she would bring jobs back and she would do all sorts of things. And upstate New York is a catastrophe right now, probably as bad as just about any place. It's a catastrophe. And the jobs have left. 50, 60% of the manufacturing is gone. And she promised to take care of that situation and made it worse, except her friends did very well. Consultants and various other people, they made a fortune. So, no, she won't do the job. She's all talk, she's no action. I know her well. Not going to happen.
One of the things that has been amazing being on the trail with you is watching the rallies. A lot of people see them on TV, so they see the podium. But the cameras never pull back and let people see what 20,000 people screaming are like in a political rally. And I'm curious, what's your understanding? What is it that Americans are saying when they come and they're acting like almost like groupies at a Rolling Stones concert? I mean, I have nothing to compare this to. I've been in a lot of political events. Nothing is going on that I've ever seen quite like at one of those rallies. What is that about?
Well, right now, right after this, you're going to be introducing me in front of 12 or 13,000 people in Orlando. And it's, and that's not even, you know, I mean, we have 25, we have 30, we have 40,000 people.
Whatever the seating capacity is, you have that, and you have people standing outside. I mean, that's
We're restricted by seating capacity. I mean, basically, it's been an amazing experience. You mentioned one thing, though, it's very funny, because if I had a network, I'd want to show all the crowds because it's going to be better television. They never pull it away from my face. They have it on my face. And I'll go home and I'll say to my wife, did you see what I did. She said, yes, how big is the crowd? And they never show, unless there's a protester. They show the protester because that's a bad thing. In other words, if you have a protester, they consider it a bad thing. So if there's a protester, we don't have too many protesters. You notice we haven't, we had a little surge, but the Hillary people don't have the same passion as the Bernie people. Well,
the reason I don't have any protesters, there aren't that many people.
They really don't.
100 people show up.
Yeah, it's amazing. She doesn't have big crowds. The whole thing is strange to me because she doesn't have big crowds. But they never show the size of the crowd. And you would think that they'd want to because it's better television. It's good for ratings, et cetera, but they never want to, they never pull that camera back unless there's a protester. But we've had tremendous, I tell you what, the level of spirit for our country, the level of love for our country. You see the people, they're in love with this whole, I'm a messenger. I'm merely a messenger. I'm a messenger of ideas that they've wanted for years. You know, many of these people haven't had a pay increase, and they're making less money now than they made 18 years ago in real wages, and they're working much harder, and they have 2 jobs. Obamacare is taking care of that, but they have literally 2 jobs. So they're getting older, they're working harder, and they're making less money. And it's very, very sad. And we have, look, we have all people, we have everybody. You know, they like to say that we have people, this and that, they like to define. We have everybody. But so many people today are working harder than they did 18 years ago, and they're making less money. And it's not supposed to be that way. And they're angry and they're upset, but we're going to change it. We're not going to let our jobs go. There are going to be consequences. When countries come in and they take our business, there are going to be consequences. Right now, there are no consequences. And it's so easy to handle. And we're not going to let them make their product and just send it right across our borders and sell it into our country. And we end up with unemployment. We end up with grief. We end up with no taxes. We end up with so many different difficulties. So it's so easy to solve. Everybody understands that. The politicians don't do it because their lobbyists and their donors don't want them to do it because they benefit on the other side. But me, I'm putting up my money to run my campaign, and I don't care about the lobbyists, and I don't care about the special interests, as you know.
Yeah, it's been pretty apparent that that's not been the driving force. And I think it's one of the reasons that people have been supportive. You're a disruptive candidate. You're disrupting the institutions that have failed America. And they see that, and they believe it. On a personal level, at the end of the day, when you're absolutely given a 20-hour day, which I've seen you now do,
right?
What is it that gives you the satisfaction of believing, I'm glad I'm doing this?
The people are so thrilled. You'll see that in 20 minutes when we go into this massive place where we have all these people. A friend of mine came and said, you know, how do you get up and speak without even looking at notes or without teleprompters, and you have all of these people, thousands, 10,000, 5,000, 25,000, 35,000, and he's a very successful person. And he came to one of the rallies about 2 months ago, and he saw these thousands of people, and I said, you know, it's easy because there's so much love in the room. And you understand that. You've seen it. There's so much love in the room. They want to see America be great again. You know, my whole theme is make America great again. And I've added to it, America first. We make deals where we're making deals. It's almost like we're making them for other countries. We have trade deficits that are massive with Mexico and with Japan and with China, with Vietnam, with everybody. And it's almost like, are they doing this on purpose? How can anybody be so foolish or so stupid? And we're going to change it around. But we have Make America Great Again, Make America Safe Again, America First. We have to say safe again, too. When you see what Hillary Clinton wants to have come into the country, she wants people to come in from the migration. We have no idea who these people are. They have no paperwork. There's no way of vetting them. You know, you've spoken to the same top law enforcement officials as I have. And she wants to increase what Obama is letting in, which is thousands. He wants to increase it by 550%. It's not going to happen.
Thank you very much. Great to visit with you.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Good to see you.